Hey everybody, today is Sunday, October 6, 2024. This is your tropical update for currently Category 1 Hurricane Milton in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to be a major hurricane as it makes its way east towards the Florida Peninsula. Now, earlier this morning, we had our aircraft reconnaissance mission that detected Hurricane Category 1 status winds, which gave it its Category 1 status. That time it was a 986 millibar storm, but now our most recent recon mission has given a 978 pressure status. It's still Category 1 right now, but our most recent also microwave imagery is showing that the storm now has a closed eye wall circulation, meaning that rapid intensification is expected to begin very soon. This morning's recon mission showed it at a 989 millibar, and that's basically what the GFS was giving it. So we could trust the GFS is making a good assessment of what the storm is doing. Here you can see it's here's where it was this morning at in a good deep tropical moisture pocket, and it's expected to stay in this moisture pocket for the next 24 hours. Given the high temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico, we are going to be seeing very rapid intensification of this storm. Now, currently, what's going to be driving this storm is we have a high pressure system down here in the Caribbean, and we have westerlies in the Gulf Coast. So this storm is going to be traveling in between these two, making its way towards the Florida Peninsula. You can see here's what the GFS says, making its way towards the Florida Peninsula. Now, if you see in the top right here, you can see this green surrounding this L, signifying that this storm is expected to have a very well-structured storm. It's going to be a very well-structured storm, a very tiny storm at first, given the very small wind field, but it's going to be expected to be in a very low shear environment, at least the next 54 hours. It's expected to be in a very low shear environment, which some models are signifying that this could take it all the way up to Category 4 status out in the ocean as early as Monday night. So basically 24 hours from now. You can see here in this high resolution model, you can see the storm, the hurricane force winds, which is purple, is very tiny. The tropical storm winds is also relatively small, which is what's making this storm very strong very rapidly, because it's just like a small circulation, so it's very tightly wound. But as it moves away from the Gulf of Mexico, here's where Milton is right now. So as Milton starts moving northeastward, somewhere in the next 24 hours, it could reach Category 4 status, and at some point 24 hours after that, it starts encountering higher shear, stronger winds in the upper atmosphere, and then 24 hours after that, at some point Wednesday afternoon to evening, it makes impact in Florida. Now that wind shear, that's going to start affecting it somewhere around Tuesday afternoon, evening. What that's going to do, if we look at high resolution models, we see Milton turns into a Category 4 storm around Monday evening, and as it approaches the Florida Peninsula, at some point when that shear starts affecting it, you can see here we have a compact storm, we have a moist storm, a strong storm, a very well-structured storm. At some point, once that shear starts affecting it, here at Wednesday, a few hours before impact in this model, here around 12 hours before impact, we see some browns coming into close to the center, meaning that that dry air is starting to make its way inside the center of the storm, and that's going to start eating away the storm, making it more weak. If we look at our wind for this, we see we have a very compact system, like I said, that our hurricane force winds and then our tropical storm force winds are in a small area. Once that wind shear starts affecting it, let me circulate it in back. Here we see our hurricane force winds, for example. Here the hurricane force winds and this cross. Once that wind shear starts affecting it, besides making it more weak, what could start happening is that our hurricane force wind field just starts expanding from our normal cross that I showed to this whole area, and now our tropical storm force winds are also uh, increasing from this small compact storm onto a more broader storm. Now, another thing that might happen is here we have a compact thunderstorms around the whole center, but once that dry air starts coming in from the south, you see our storm becomes more half moon shaped, making the stronger part of the storm to the north. And in this model, it's impacting Tampa Bay right here. And with Tampa right here, the strongest rains, and if we go back to our winds, the strongest winds are going to be the north of it, in this specific model at least, making direct impact on Tampa Bay. Now, like I said, it's going to be Category 4 storm at some point before landfall, but because of that wind shear, we check a more recent model run, we could see here the same thing. We have a small compact storm of Category 4. As the wind shear starts affecting it, we have a more broader storm with more a larger wind field. We see the heavier rain more to the north of it as the wind shear has eroded away the south side of the storm. And in this model, instead of Wednesday afternoon, it makes landfall Thursday morning. Now, there's a lot of like range of possibilities still of how it's just gonna be just gonna depend on how when this storm gets picked up by this strong westerly winds and where it's gonna take it. This westerly wind is very important for like so many factors. It's gonna depend on when it starts affecting it, how fast it's gonna weaken, where it's gonna take it, and how fast it's gonna take it. And like in this model run, for example, it makes landfall as a Category 2 storm. That wind shear affects it enough to reduce it to a Category 2 storm from a Category 4 before it made landfall. But the National Hurricane Center still has a Category 3, so it's all going to depend, like I said, on that wind shear, how it's going to affect it. If we were lucky, we could drop it down to a Category 3 or 2, but it's all going to depend on that wind shear. Now, like I said, model guidance is showing that this is taking it somewhere near Tampa Bay. If we could zoom in a little bit more, we see most models take it somewhere near Tampa. If the south side of the storm gets affected, then that leaves Tampa Bay as the strongest part of the storm. Like I said, it's going to depend on where it is. So like some models have it up here that's near Cedar Key. Some models have it down here in Fort Myers. So, and then like the mean is somewhere right here near Tampa Bay. And also besides location, like I said, timing is an issue where some models here we have this is 18Z Wednesday, so around Wednesday afternoon we have some models making landfall, but some models are all the way back here and they don't make landfall until some have it at Friday morning. So I would say that let's see where the most red is, maybe some have it maybe like Thursday morning might be what most models are showing now. But if we go to the European models, like I said, we have some Thursday afternoon, but some we have all the way still back here. We're probably the majority early Thursday morning. And tonight's model runs have it at around 72 hours here, meaning Wednesday evening. And if we check the intensities, 72 hours is this. And most have it at a hurricane status, somewhere between hurricane category 1 and 2. But some have it a little bit higher, and maybe a 3 still. So maybe a category 3, 2 is what's expected, depending this year. The National Hurricane Center has the earliest reasonable arrival time for tropical storm force winds around Tuesday night. The greatest flash flood risk, as like I said, is north of Tampa because if the hurricane turns into a half moon shape where the south side gets eroded away from the shear and dry air, then the north side of the storm is the strongest. That's why the National Hurricane Center has the greatest flash flood risk north of landfall if it makes landfall here in this Florida region. The National Hurricane Center has Milton making landfall as a major hurricane, so category 3. around 1 p.m. Wednesday. And with any tropical storm system, there's also a risk for tornadoes. So the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk for areas including Tampa and Fort Myers and Miami for a tornado risk. And that's it for your Sunday tropical update on Hurricane Milton.